Ladies and gentlemen, the wrestling realm, just like the rest of the wrestling world, mourns the loss but celebrates the life of WWE Hall of Famer and legend, the Iron Sheik.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes! What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Oh yeah.
Woo, jabronis!
And welcome to the Wrestling Rum Now podcast, where you can take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, you can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Rum. I'm your host, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen. He's your host, Brother Hugh. Has the third H to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R to the D. He's your host, the Jack Daddy himself, Brian H. Waters, Hollywood Heel in the building. And he is your host, Brandon Waters Wednesday. Brandon, the guy, the Belt King himself in the building. Follow us on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Wrestling Rum, 2 W's. Like, subscribe, and engage in a conversation with us. And you can also stream and download all of our audio content on Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Watch us subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Realm. Head over to WrestlingRealm.com, where you can support the Wrestling Realm by buying all of our merchandise, our proud wrestling fan t-shirts, the Jack Daddy Brian H. Waters t-shirt. So much new merchandise we have over there, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, and so much more over at TheWrestlingRealm.com. So head over there to support the brand. If you want to dress like us, if you want to support us, that's where you need to go. Also, subscribe to our Patreon channel. That's right, patreon.com/wrestling_realm. For all exclusive shows and bonus material that we write, we tell stories we're not supposed to tell on the air. We have all types of goodies over there. And guess what? You can subscribe for just as low as $1. So head over to and subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/wrestling_realm. And also, if you are looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com, where you can use promo code Wrestling Realm. That's right, we have our own promo code, Wrestling Realm, to save $20 on any one-time purchase of $50 or more for the first time. That's right. So if you're purchasing tickets for the first time and you have not done so on SeatGeek, you can save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more. And judging by the way ticket costs for these live events and shows, etc., trust me, you shouldn't have any problem. So head over to SeatGeek.com and use promo code Wrestling Realm. Good brothers, good brothers, good brothers. We are back for another week of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. And as usual, we have quite a bit to get into today. But first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't check on the good brothers. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Oh, great, man. I'm good. Chilling. You know me, cooling.
As Brother Hugh, he's fired up. Brian H.
Oh, man. Here we go. But I feel like he was about to ask me how I was doing.
Waters Wednesdays.
Oh, there we go. It finished. I'm all right. You know, the school year is almost over, so that makes me happy. Tomorrow, shout out to my son graduating from 8th grade. So I'm excited about that. Excited for him. Also excited. I gotta take that drive all the way to his school.
I'm sure you're relieved now.
Yeah, but you know, it's been a interesting year. You know, he's been growing up. It's crazy. I'm about to have a high schooler.
Bro, last I remember I met Jonathan. He was sitting on your lap behind the steering wheel and had an attitude because he had to get up. Like he was
that was when you first met him.
Yeah, and he was being taken into the house, and he was looking back like, "What, Bobby? Why I gotta go in the house? I want to stay with Daddy outside on the steering wheel." So
believe it or not, he used to call me Brian at the time, which sounds so weird to even think about.
Oh wow! But
6'4" now.
It's goodness gracious, he's growing like a weed. But Brother Brandon, the Belt King himself, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Outstanding Wednesday. Great Wednesday. Can't wait to get this show on the road. So yeah, I'm really, really good today.
He's been very busy with the belts.
Just a little bit. Just depending on what day of the week it is. Tuesday is the belt day. Wednesday is the rum day. So it's kind of interesting. It was a busy day yesterday, wasn't it? Here.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So yeah, we had an interesting day yesterday. Hopefully everybody had a chance to check out the latest episode of Championship Culture, which dropped yesterday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. And the good thing about that was I think I dove into some things from the comments that I'm getting. I will have to say honorable mention. I totally forgot, and I'm surprised that nobody checked me on this because the question was, does the strap matter? And diving into the different color straps, does it matter on the championship or does it matter who's holding it? So that was the latest episode, and I'm really surprised that the Shawn Michael fans didn't check me as hard as they did about I forgot about the purple strap. So it might be a part 2 coming because I definitely said the white strap, but I totally forgot about the purple one. That's one of them hidden gems that we seem to forget about. But as I digress, back to you, good brothers.
No, first of all,
you know what hit better? Hold on. You know what hit better than purple? Any other strap, man? You know the best color is
the white one.
No, this one right here. Yeah.
Yo,
You see that red on that bad boy? Woo!
Oh yeah, that is a good color, isn't it?
That's a smooth color, bro.
That's a nice belt too.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm calling this belt heist 2023.
But look how nice they look together. I have a set of tag team belts. Look, see how nice they look together?
You're gonna see a random video on YouTube that I'm gonna upload. I'm gonna come to your house like TMZ with the camera. Like I'm coming to get my title back.
You gotta do the video like gotta put a filter on
Bro,
it.
I'm telling you all that. I'm telling you, I'm gonna pull up at the guy's house with the camera and everything. Like, yo, I'm coming to get my belt back, and I'm gonna document the whole experience. And I want y'all to see how this man acts. This is Belt Heist 2023.
But
hold on, y'all not gonna get away with this because y'all, brother Brandon and brother Hugh.
Uh-oh.
Because social media had a lot to say about the title of the show.
Wow, it was it was definitely catchy.
I'm sitting there, I see the post. I'm like, okay, pause. What? Oh, that's why.
I figured the fans would get a kick out of that. It's funny. It was definitely catchy.
I loved it. Good stuff.
Very catchy. Let's talk about this man over here looking scrumptious all on IG and Facebook and whatnot.
Oh,
what? No, he trying to put that picture in the name and take it off himself.
You see that? You see that?
You guys are so lucky I didn't put together what I was gonna put a compilation of like all 4 or 5 of his pictures together into like one thing. It wouldn't fit the 1080 by 1280 screen. But trust me, the Jack Daddy.
Put it on the reels.
I'll post it there. The Jack Daddy's out there.
Then he posted the gym picture. Did y'all see the gym picture?
Right, you saw.
I did. I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh, look at him."
Little side gun.
He gave me a side boob action. He was like, "You see this from the side? You see this?" I was like, "Calm down, that big fella. He gonna have internet ablaze."
I'm like, "You got it, bro. You got it."
I said,
shout out to Brother Hugh because Brother Hugh always like, "No, you gotta lift heavier. You gotta go heavier." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, sheesh." Just like he had me on the treadmill. And Brother Hugh was at 8 minutes. I'm about to slow down. He kept running. I kept running. Next thing you know, I'm on there 15, 20 minutes messing with this dude.
Yeah, you're going to be looking like Bobby Lashley before you know it. The Jack Daddy himself, Hollywood Heat O'Brien Waters Wednesdays. All getting into one. But and don't think you're definitely not getting a new set of merchandise and the next round of merchandise that we designed because we got to get Brother Hugh some stuff. We got to get Brandon stuff. And the trolling of Brian H continues. It's just tradition.
Where's your merch?
I got enough.
That's the thing about him being the designer.
I got enough of it.
Look, one of y'all two down, y'all artists, y'all gotta get him too. Shoot.
It's the trolling of Brian H must continue. Hollywood. I got to think about some type of Hollywood Hogan type parody type shirt for Brian H. But
it won't bother me.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
Shout out to the custom guy.
Look at that. Speaking of shirts, who produced that beautiful tee you have on?
Some dude named the guy.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but
the guy. Most people don't know that he prints his own shirts. He is a what do you consider your title? Because I know how I feel about my titles. Like what do you consider yourself when people come to you for business, brother Brandon? What do you consider yourself when they come to you?
So you're gonna laugh when I say this. It's all in the name. It's
Mhm.
That's where Custom Guy came from, because I believe in customizing things to each individual person. So like that shirt that he
That is
has
true.
on, you can get it any color, any size. You can change the words, the
Mhm.
color of the words. You can switch it around. You don't have to be locked into everybody having the same T-shirt. You can get one that fits you, your personality, and say it with your shirt. That's literally what Custom Guy was brought from, and then of course my name being Guy, it just worked out very well. So,
Bro,
and
you
that's
should
what
be
the Juneteenth, Black History Month, all in one type shirt that you can wear 365 days a year. So, be on the lookout for a few more things dropping from Custom Guy as well.
Bro, you should be sponsoring our material. We should have Custom Guy commercials and ads that we should be running for all these shows. What are you doing? You're advertising right now. This is perfect. Well, Custom Guy should start sponsoring this wrestling run material. This would be great.
You say nothing but a word.
Yeah. Speaking nothing but a word. Definitely get a quick shout out to our good brother Drew Willingham.
Yes,
From
sir.
the Struggle is Real to Be Awesome Network. We talked to Drew recently, and he's doing much better, and he is coming along. But we'd be remiss if we didn't give that brother a shout out. So Drew, we're still pulling for you, brother. We know you're not out the woods yet, but we definitely appreciate you. You know, your kind words that you've had for us, but we want to extend that same gratitude towards you, brother, just for all that you've done. Such a talented individual. If you're not familiar with the name of Drew Willingham, I promise you will be sooner rather than later. You know why? Because the struggle is real to be awesome. So Drew, we'll be hearing from you soon, and trust me, and I can't wait for the fans to get a chance to experience you and all you bring to the table when you join us for the Wrestling Rum Now podcast party. TBD, to be determined, whatever date it is.
Yep.
So, good brothers, let's not prolong this situation any longer. Brian H., let's ring the bell. All right, gentlemen, we are here this week, and we had a very interesting week in pro wrestling. And this is the perfect time for us to start off with me asking you guys, what did you watch? Brian H., I beat you to it. So, gentlemen, what did you guys watch this week? What did you guys watch this week in professional wrestling?
Oh man, shucks, bro. This week I went back through the Bloodline story.
Did you watch that 125-minute thing that WWE posted on their YouTube? they put you in that rabbit hole.
No, well, huge shout out to Megan. She was doing my hair.
Oh, okay. Well, you had time to kill.
She was not the last time, but one of the times we watched it before. So I was telling her, and you know, she's instant kayfabe, like can't stand Roman. Somebody need to smack her. She's all in. So I said, all right. I said, look, tonight SmackDown come on, it's going down. But let me take you back. So I took her back to right after Survivors. She saw Survivor Series. So after that, so I watched that whole thing, man. And then you also realize, like, dang, WWE cut out a lot of stuff as they got, because they hurry up, like towards the end, to get to the week before, to get to Night of Champions, and that's where it ended. So I showed her that, and then I went back on the SmackDowns on the DVR, showed her some of the segments that she missed, and then it was like after like getting my hair like dried, I was like, oh, she was like not around on SmackDown. I was like, look, come back down, you got to see this. And then she saw what happened, so. It was like the perfect way to get ready for SmackDown was watching that whole Bloodline story, just kind of like that refresher.
Okay, brother Brandon, what'd you get into this week, sir?
I'm going to say one name and one name only. Okada.
Man,
Okada.
We're on similar wavelengths.
And the reason being, once one of his 746 big announcement came, when we get to that part of it, I'm gonna say something about the Forbidden Door, but I will tell you this. I don't know if we are ready for this match we're about to get, because
they're going to kill each other.
You know what? And I'm going to say this, and I know I said this to Brian H. Waters before. I don't think the world is ready for that conversation, and Bryan Danielson might be the best wrestler. But watching Okada again, it's making me question Bryan Danielson. As in, is he the best? Was Okada the best?
Yeah, bro, you've been out the loop.
Because now I'm watching it through like a different set of eyes and not just the shock and awe. I'm like, this man is really good.
Man,
this is real. And I'm gonna just say that Wrestle Kingdom, I think it was 11, the first meeting of him and Omega. That was one of the ones I watched, and just the storytelling. I was like, why was this so good so long ago, and it still holds true to today? Because like people that don't know, remember Okada came back to New Japan and he won the heavyweight title in his first match for the championship. Not his first match, but his first title opportunity. He won it, and he beat. And after we know who he beat, it was whoa, oh, they put the strap on him, okay, and that's when the Rainmaker gimmick just took off. It hasn't been turned down since. But that's what I got into. I encourage anybody to watch anything with Okada and Omega, Okada and Jay. Just go to YouTube and type in Okada and see what happens.
Trust me, it's timeless wrestling. It doesn't get old. Brother Hugh, before I get into what I watched, sir, what did you get into, buddy?
Oh well, Brother Brandon, we had a conversation about the IC title. So first I went back and watched Gunther versus KO. I know it wasn't for the title or whatnot, but the match was awesome.
Yeah,
I liked it. I loved it. Great ending. It solidified Gunther as how you say it? Gunther. It solidified him as the man as he is, and he's gonna keep pushing, man. I loved it. You know, KO he sells and he does no wrong. You know, so. But right now, I'm going down a rabbit hole just looking at a bunch of IC title matches. And, of course, you know who I got to start off with.
Zigzag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Him and The Miz. I already watched Night of Champions. That's when he lost in 2014. Now on 2016 Backlash. So, yeah, that's what I'm into right now.
Their feud was ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I remember that. I remember being nervous at one point when I was like, man, Dolph Ziggler really retired. I was pissed. I was speculating dirt sheets like, is he leaving the company? I was about to get mad, but I feel like that was around those times where it's like we were getting like Dolph Ziggler. We didn't know if he was going to like, you know, reemerge again to like get back to that status. And then he's always had this up and down love-hate relationship with kind of being in the spotlight and coming back down. But you know, but still, nonetheless, it's still classic and it holds up, no doubt. But yeah, I was kind of in the middle of all you guys in that wavelength. I was knowing that we do have AEW Forbidden Door coming up, the show between New Japan and AEW, the collab show. It reminded me of what made me fall in love with wrestling outside of WWE in 2015 was the Ring of Honor and New Japan partnership and the many pay-per-views they put on together, War of the Worlds, and what was the other one called? Global Wars. You know, one was in Canada, one was in the States. And like I was looking at old footage on my old camera, and I went back and I was watching some Adam Cole and Kevin Owens battles when Kevin Owens was pretty much on his way out the door, as well as, you know, trying to get myself back into the flow of New Japan and seeing my guy Kazuchika Okada, you know, do his thing against Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Bro, you sound just like
if you ever watch those New Japan shows and how they get hyped when they name those guys' names, like even when I was studying Japanese, I was trying to like, dude, like how do I talk like that without being stereotypical?
It just it has a distinct sound, like the way WCW had their sound, the way WWF had their sound. That New Japan sound is just amazing. I love it.
And it's like, and none of the American names sound as cool as the Japanese names when they're being announced.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, that's kind of what I got into. But let's jump right into it, gentlemen. AEW Forbidden Door. Now, you know, usually we don't. I laugh. We don't do a whole lot of AEW stuff on the show, but I'm sure you guys, when you saw the rundown, you were like, "Wait a minute, realness. This is interesting," because we usually don't take a whole lot of time on AEW stuff. We try to get as much of it in as we possibly can, but it's hard to kind of keep overall dialogue. For that, you got to go talk to All Elite with Keeks and the you know, on her show. She does an excellent job for a breakdown of AEW. And trust me, you talk about somebody ride or die. You know, so shout out to her and the Public Enemies podcast, whose platform that she is on. So, but she's the AEW expert. But there's something about this in particular, and like I said, I brought this up is because we were there in the middle of that. Once again, the Ring of Honor and New Japan partnership that to me gave me so many timeless moments outside of WWE. I mean, the stuff to this day, I still hold ground when I say this, that I believe it is Global Wars. I want to say 2016. I could be wrong. I think it holds up better than the original All In. pay-per-view with the Young Bucks, you know, the prelude to AEW. I was like, this is good, but I've seen a better card than this. And it was from the New Japan Ring of Honor partnership. But AEW is kind of taking that mantle and working with New Japan in this collab show, and they did it last year with the Forbidden Door, ironically with the IWGP champion on the show in a fatal 4-way match, and now just another guy in AEW's roster. But I'm done. I'm not gonna keep taking shots at AEW because this is what we really came to talk about. This match right here, Brother Brandon just brought it up. Now, there is another match on here that has my attention, and that is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. If you guys are not familiar with it, Will Ospreay has been pretty much what they consider in Japan a super junior, what we here in the States may call a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight. But you know, in his recent run, he has put on the pounds and he has gone into the main event scene. So we have Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay coming up for the IWGP United States Championship, which is going to be utterly ridiculous if Kenny Omega's body can hold up. But this is why we have come to the door, gentlemen. This is a matchup I never thought in a million years that I would see. I remember in 2015, we were kind of reshaping the wrestling realm, and I was changing out graphics. And I remember I did my four top favorite wrestlers at the time. It was Daniel Bryan, it was Samoa Joe, it was AJ Styles, who was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was Kevin Owens, I believe. Kevin Owens. And I remember I did graphics for all four of these guys around 2014 and 2015, just for their accolades. And I should have thought about putting it up here, but I didn't. And I remember seeing, like, wondering if we would ever get matchups like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles and just anybody in New Japan. Well, see, AJ Styles is already in New Japan, so we've seen him in Okada, but Daniel Bryan was a WWE guy. Never in a million years did I ever think we would see him venture outside of WWE, but here we are. And we have this matchup right here. We have Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan, versus Kazuchika Okada at AEW New Japan Forbidden Door, Sunday, June 25th at 8 p.m. live on pay-per-view. Not a premium live event because it's not WWE. Gentlemen, these guys are going to kill each other. Yep. Brian H, is this a dream matchup for you to see Brian? How do you feel about Daniel Bryan being able to square off with one of the greatest professional wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots, especially in this generation, but has never really made a name for himself directly into the States, but has been a global superstar? I mean, this guy was backstage at NXT back in the heyday when he was doing his tours. That's how much Kazuchika Okada is respected. Daniel Bryan versus Okada.
This is super exciting, man. When I think about Okada and everything, like, he was somebody, like, them matches with him and Kenny Omega, I was like, man, like, I was hooked. And, you know, I was actually talking about it with Justin, shout out to Justin, when we was on the fan club. And I was talking about it, like, I stopped everything. It was like, okay, I'm going to watch this. I remember, like, coming home from church one Sunday just to put on one of their Iron Man match. And so now to get him and Bryan, like, you got my favorite wrestler versus somebody who will probably, without me even saying, but now think about it, it's like probably my favorite wrestler who's never stepped foot in WWE, right? And now they're gonna go against each other and with no restrictions. Like, man, where are we going? You know, the New Yorkers keep talking about legends, and that's the spot. I was like, gas up the pace. So maybe we all need to take a realm on the road just to go watch this with all the homies, because this is one of the matches. I was talking to Stephen Michael. Shout out to him. He called me when this match was announced. Bro, generational graps. That's the term he used. He said it's going to be generational graps in this one. And man, I don't know. This thing right here, this match right here, like, oh, bro, when they ring the bell,
man, what? You just preached the word. You just preached the word. When they ring the bell, that's as soon as you say when they ring the bell. Listen, this has the potential to be a match of the year candidate. Because you know AEW is not going to give them many restrictions. See, Vince McMahon's like, listen, don't go out there and make us all look bad. Bingo. You know what I mean? Like he's going to make sure that doesn't happen, right? So he's like, you know, let's save it, let's build it. But like AEW and New Japan are like, nope, go out there, it's a showcase. Go out there and do what you need to do. Right? I'm literally what you just said was like when they ring the bell. Brother Brandon, Kazuchika Okada Daniel Bryan. This is something you ever thought you would see. Now we're talking about you're the coma. You're the coma guy. You're a guy that's been in multiple wrestling comas. That Brandon will go to the independents. He will travel around the world. He would like that when Okada was making his name for himself. Him and Seth Rollins were coming up around the same time in 2014, and him and Seth were on a similar trajectory, right? Like Seth Rollins was kind of the next guy up, and so was Okada, because you had New Japan, you had Tanahashi, you had Shinsuke. Katsuri Shibata had just come back. You know, he was just getting back into the mix, but Shinsuke and Tanahashi were John Cena, Randy Orton. They were the two guys that, when New Japan was in such a bad spot, they chose those guys as young talent to build the company around, right? And then eventually those guys were getting older. We had an infusion of matchups. We had AJ Styles come in, which was a huge boost. But you had Okada was the homegrown talent. He was the rainmaker. You know what I mean? He was there with Gato. He was the guy kind of up next, and they were kind of neck and neck. You know, I remember comparing those guys a lot, especially in 2014, 15-ish, right? Here we are now, fast forward. Now he is the standard of New Japan. I know we still have Tanahashi, he's still the ace of New Japan, but let's keep it real. Like, Okada is the lifeblood of New Japan for wrestling, and now we get a chance to see him go face to face with one of my all-time favorites. I mean, where is your mind at? Where's it standing? Thinking that, first of all, I don't keep up with AEW as much. I didn't even think this was even on the cards. But when I heard it announced, I said, okay, now we're playing hardball. Brother Brandon, what was your take on it when you first heard Daniel Bryan versus Okada?
So you're going to laugh when I say this. I wish we would have had it last year, but I understand Brian Danielson was injured.
No, it's Daniel Bryan.
We couldn't get it. We couldn't get it last year because he was injured. And all I kept quoting was like, Tony Khan, please do something right. Give the wrestling fans the wrestling match that we need. Not that we want, that we need. We need to see this, because this will probably raise the bar. And I'm not saying that it's other wrestlers that's not as good, but you can't talk about good wrestling matches in the last 10 years without probably name dropping one of these two guys at any time. And for us to see, I hope that this is the main event, and I'm not taking away from any world champion. This is the main event that we need to see at Forbidden Door, because this is truly a Forbidden Door that we wouldn't have gotten. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, is this one of the things that why Daniel Bryan left WWE, because he wanted to work with New Japan?
Yeah,
You got somebody that's hungry, that wants to do it, wanted to wrestle, wanted to show his skills, he hasn't missed a step yet. Blackpool Combat Club is something different that we can talk about, but the fact is, when you ring that bell with Daniel Bryan and Okada, first off, we got to remember, Okada is about 6'2", 6'3", right? He's a little taller.
Yeah, yes.
It's gonna be a physical difference, and Daniel Bryan puts on some of the best matches with guys that are taller than him and that he can actually work with, because it's going to be, if I hate those star ratings, this might break those star ratings.
So you're saying we're going to a 7-star match?
If he has 6.5, whatever Dave Meltzer's at, which I don't agree with, I think that this is going to be this one and the other match on the card. I don't know how they're going to. You can't put these near each other. One got to open and one got to close, because you can't put either one of these matches close to each other. You just can't. Because when we get to the other match, I got a take on that one too. But I think that if this is not the main event, Tony Khan might not be paying attention to certain things.
Okay, well let's stay there. We got a hot take. I feel it's brewing on his chest. Like Brandon's holding back, but we'll get to it. Brother Hugh, do you think that that Daniel Bryan versus Kazuchika Okada should main event over Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay?
Personally, yes.
Why is that?
But just overall, like you said, like the legacy that Okada has, and then Daniel Bryan basically being the best wrestler out there whatsoever. Like when it comes to grappling, just scrapping, just being feisty, he's a little guy, but he has it all. He can do no wrong. So I mean, if you think about Ospreay and what's his name, Omega, we've seen it already a couple times. All right, cool. But I'm not gonna, knock their matchup or whatnot. But it's like I feel like it's Kenny Omega. So most likely he's, what I'm saying, he's gonna be the main event. That's Tony's guy. He most likely will be a main event.
That's why I'm conflicted about it myself, because everything you're saying is absolutely true, but that's like that X factor in that piece right there. But Brother Brandon, you had something to say about that match in regards to Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay and why you feel like Daniel Bryan and Okada should main event over it.
Well, Dylan made a comment. He said, if Kenny Omega Ospreay can be topped. If you look at Kenny Omega's career, this is the one thing that I like about Kenny Omega. He always outdoes himself in the rematch. When you think he can't do better, you watch the second match, the third match that he had, you're like, how did this get better than the first one? And all I'm going to say is look at him in Switchblade. Look at him in Okada. Look at any match that's been ran back with Kenny Omega, and that's why I think that we haven't got that Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan again, because we got to save that, because we know Kenny Omega, for some reason, he comes out and going to make you forget about the first match, because this match is going to be almost night and day, and it's going to be like, wow, I can't believe that that's going to be good. Because truth be told, yeah, Kenny Omega is Tony Khan's guy, but he has a belt that doesn't belong in AEW. It's part of the Forbidden Door. Why not open the show with that? Because truth be told, who do you want to go behind? Neither person, right?
Sure.
But
yeah.
If you put Okada and Bryan anywhere on the card, anybody behind it, nobody's gonna want it. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, why are you giving me this? Look what I just saw. But if it's the opening matches, the IWGP United States Championship, and whoever wins, it's going to be, okay, that was great. But, you give me that one first, as in Okada and Daniel anywhere else, I would just get up and leave and be like, I'll see what I need to see. I don't need to see anything else on this Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I guess you got a point. Brian, do you agree with Brother Brandon in that sentiment?
Yep. Facts. I don't got to say no more.
I mean, because it does make sense, and I didn't think about it that way. But when you put it out there, you said, "Well, you're absolutely right." You have Tony Khan's top guy that is not, but that title is not his. That IWGP United States Championship is not his title. It belongs to another company, and I guess it only makes sense for Will Ospreay to return to New Japan Pro Wrestling as IWGP United States Champion, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the scenario that you were walking into it, right? And I guess I say that's because I'm not really sure the nature of the partnership between AEW and New Japan. So for instance, what I mean by that is when we had New Japan and we had the Ring of Honor partnership, it wasn't just the major pay-per-views that you saw all the talent kind of working together. They would send guys to do excursions. I remember, like I said, I fell in love with Jay White because before he became the Switchblade. I remember seeing him, and when New Japan has young boys, they send them on excursions. They have no gimmicks. They just wear black trunks, white or black boots to the ring, and they go do the excursions, and then they come back to New Japan with the character. And I remember he was on an excursion at one point. Evil. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, what was it about Jay White that made you fall in love with him?
Probably, I don't know, man. It's just, I guess, his overall look, his build, and I was like, and then on top of that, what he could do in the ring. He looked like
he drew you in. He drew you into them.
He did. And he was basic. He just had literally black trunks, white boots, nice look, hair. And I was like, yo.
Somebody drew you in.
And he was somebody that I was like, man, he's really good. I like what he does in the ring. And that's that, like, Ring of Honor was my nonstop, my one-stop shop space to where I could just see pure in-ring wrestling without any gimmicks, without any major storylines or anything to precede it, you know what I mean? And he was one of those guys. I liked how he wrestled in the ring, and I was like, man, he's going to be good. So when he returned back to New Japan as the Switchblade, I was like, oh man, first of all, I never saw it coming. And I was like, oh, this is really, really good. And I've just been a huge fan of his ever since. So like I said, I don't know the full nature of AEW's partnership with New Japan and how often they're going to be working together. But I guess when you put it that way, Brother Brad, it's hard to see Kenny Omega actually walking away from a New Japan AEW show as IWGP United States Champion, especially when your top guy's not regularly in Japan. Maybe a Moxley, maybe a Daniel Bryan, but it's like, hey, I don't know how often they're going to end up working with each other. Where Kenny Omega winning this makes sense, or in this case, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay closing the show.
Oh, that's a good question.
Dylan Matthews says, speaking of Jay White, do y'all think Ricky Starks is done with AEW? His booking is horrible. Okay, who called this weeks ago? I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna put my hand up here and I'm gonna just relax to the side. I'm gonna scratch my chin and I'm gonna just hang out. I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing. Who called this? Who said this a while ago? Like somebody that I know that's on the wrestling show that can't stop running his mouth he says something like, "Man, I don't like you guys are drinking this Kool-Aid because he looks like $1 million this week." And I'm like, yo, it's no disrespect to him, but I'm like, where's this next big thing I'm seeing from him? Because talent's always going to rise to the top, and I understand booking does make a difference, right? It does matter, but Dylan Matthews said something, and I'm saying to myself, man, something has got to give, brothers. Can y'all explain to me what's going on? Because I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna just, since it's always me. Right. What seems to be the issue with AEW when they get a young talent and it seems like they have momentum and yet they can't seem to sustain it? I know Ricky Starks I don't think he got any heat for it, but I know he was upset about the picture of him being at the Rumble with Cody, being backstage. First of all, somebody looked at a security camera. Like, out of all the cameras that get caught on, nobody even, like, who has access to those things anyway? Somebody working security's got to be a legitimate wrestling fan to sit there and say, I know that guy. That's Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
To sit there and put him in that situation where everybody's like, oh, his booking is horrible, but you think he'll leave. Once again, another guy that I think would thrive tremendously in NXT.
But yeah.
Everybody got to think twice.
Shout out to DJ AO from Ringside Club, just tuned in. I said this last year, and everybody kept saying Ricky Starks, and I was like, I don't see it. I saw him in the ring with MJF, the microphone battle back and forth. I started like, okay, I'm starting to see something. What I wasn't wanting was this crown him straight to the top.
Thank you. That's all I was saying.
That's
all I was saying, bro. They was comparing him to The Rock, brother. Come on now.
And that's never fair. Like,
they kept saying he was up next. He was going to be up next. He was him. And I'm like, come on, y'all. I don't think it's that deep. Talented, yes. But
to me, booking, and Dylan hit right on his, booking is horrible because to me, I need to get invested in him. And that was the thing that worked for MJF because regardless of what, you got invested. Now, whether you wanted to see him get beat up or whether you wanted to see him overcome the man being Tony Khan, because that's what for a while, and that's what made everybody hooked when he cut that nuclear bomb on him. So Ricky Starks they haven't put him in a situation like, I don't know, putting people with Jericho don't do it for me. It should.
That's not always the answer. Like, they've been doing it since AEW started. Like,
yeah,
come on, it had to be somebody else.
Like I'm gonna go back. I didn't see the Adam Cole MJF promo, but my goodness.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
I saw the tweet.
Can I pause you for a second on that, right? Can we just say this? And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it as blunt as possible. I am tired of the cut and paste MJF. It's to the point now. I can tell you what his next promo is going to be against, let's say, Brian H. Porter. Yeah, remember? You were on the other show with this person. Look what this. Let me say name drop something. Because you suck, because you like the Orioles, and you're from Baltimore. Ha, ha, ha. I am a better person than you, and I don't have to stoop to your level. Next MJF promo. So he referenced, of course, Vince McMahon. And then he referenced they gave you the lights, the camera, the pretty girl. You know what they got to do for me? Ring the bell. Sounds familiar? You were the best world champion in that company, and that's undisputed. I was like, come on, MJF. I mean,
that was two.
Why is this your thing? Like, and I say it, and I don't know what.
Oh shoot!
Oh no! Oh no!
And then see, look, he mentioned his name. He who's shall not be named, bro. Because every time he is named, we have technical difficulties.
I'm like, oh, Brandon Cooking. Here we go. Nope. I'm writing time codes down for a reason,
bro. That's why there you go. There he's come back. But he was talking about
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Let's give brother Brandon a welcome back. There he is.
I said that's why.
See, I told you.
You
say he whose name shall not be mentioned, because every time we name his name, we have technical difficulties.
Yeah, I definitely have one. But I'm telling you, to me, it's just.
First of all, that was quick. You got back really fast, by the way.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm so. That's what's making me not want to watch either. I don't want to see, like, here we go, MJF. Like, if Adam Cole can make you feel special, it's that. But back to Ricky Starks. I'm sorry, that was my rant. It's just...
Hold on, real quick about the Rick. Can I ask you a question about the Brian, you don't mind for asking this question, do you? About the MJF situation.
We
What you
laugh.
what you're saying is true, brother Brandon, and I agree with you. But
Mhm.
do you not care about his delivery? Because I think his delivery is absolutely hilarious. There's one thing that MJF can do. It's his delivery. It's the funniest thing in the world. It's just so like this dude just doesn't care, and it comes across great. And I personally find it absolutely hilarious. The same vibe I got when he was at the press conference at the media scrum with Tony Khan. I'm like, this guy, I don't know if he's performing or he's being for real right now, but I think it's funny. Does that not make a difference for you?
Well, no, because the Miz does something in a similar formula,
Okay,
but it comes off different when the Miz does it.
got it.
Like when the Miz cuts these passionate promos, it's not the same promo. He hits you with the real reality and not make you feel like you're an idiot. Like we know Adam Cole left because he wasn't seen as a big star. We get it.
Right.
We understand that Adam Cole may have lost some of his muscle mass or his weight. The man was trying to rehab himself. Like he wasn't in the gym. He was getting better. We know that. We don't fault him for that as wrestling fans, but you're throwing these tidbits out there, and I feel like the delivery is now stale because he does it to everybody. It's the same thing to every time MJF is the same promo. It's just take out Brian H. Waters, put in Dwayne Allen. Take out Dwayne Allen, put it here. You know, it's the same thing.
Hold on. This is why they come to the wrestle room, because the way you cut that promo, though, and your diatribe and your diction and the way you said it, the inflection in your voice, the way you bounced off, like I'm hearing it, and I felt like I was in an arena watch it and hearing it bounce off the crowd, and like hearing the way the crowd reacts the same way every time. Because why? Like you said, it's cut and paste.
I personally find it hilarious, but he's like, yeah, that's tough talk coming from Keith Lee's manager. I was like, come on, dude.
I was like, all right, we know that. Okay.
I'm like, all right,
and
bro,
I feel like, so, and I don't want to say this because I don't know the man, but sometimes I'm like, come on, man, we gotta go above this. Like when Rhea Ripley said, look, we're over at 2 companies. It was cool when they mentioned that because we've grown to know that that's what the rap is going to be. I want to hear what their claim is going to say because they come up with a creative way to throw jabs out there.
Right.
It's creative. What MJF is now is like, here comes his promo. And like when Brian said, you want to see your champion there, but it's like, I don't want to see him. Like if he didn't wrestle but on a pay-per-view, I probably would be happy watching AEW because we might get one of the other 746 wrestlers on the roster in the ring. We might.
You're just not letting up tonight, are you?
How many belts do they have? Because we was trying to count earlier.
13.
13. That's it.
Well, AEW or ROH?
All under Tony Khan.
Cut it out.
Under Tony Khan, 746.
Turn our broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yo. Oh man, it's like Eric Bischoff now. He was cool, but then he mentioned he talked bad about Ted Turner. You don't talk bad about somebody who made somebody else a millionaire.
Right. I was gonna say he could do no wrong. Look, trust me. But I'm gonna say this, and I want to love AEW because it checks so many of the boxes that makes me want to say I'm a proud wrestling fan, and I want to love it. But it's just they just keep showing me that it's not. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is a cheap pop. But they just
getting the video game.
Look at him. I would not get the video game. I would go to the DLC packs and to the little creative spaces and download all the people are going to create their own.
Wait, you're not going to get this is up your alley, bro. Like it's the closest to No Mercy and stuff.
Yeah, that was up my alley in 1999, 2000, whatever it was, 2001, whatever it came out. Like I don't need it now. It's because I know like technology has developed to the point where I just got to go to Reddit or go one of the forums, and somebody's going to create every AEW character, and they do one heck of a job at it. And I just download it there, and now I get to have my favorite AEW guys that I do like, and I get to put them in WWE settings. And if I want to get really creative, I'll download some of the AEW arenas and all of the other stuff, and then I got AEW and WWE game all in one.
I will say this: I haven't done it yet this year because I haven't. Man, like I'll play the game for a little bit, but then I told you what your nephew did. He made, and then this is how kids tell on each other because his sister goes, "Daddy, did you see the way Roman Reigns come out now?" I said, "I asked your brother, he said no." But I was about to say is usually I would have had a Realm Arena by now. I just haven't gotten a chance to. But if there's anybody out there who feeling very creative, create, we would like to see how y'all would create the wrestling realm.
That's usually the first thing you do. You create a wrestling realm title or wrestling realm arena. Like
I did my title. Shout out to the guy, Brandon guy. But I haven't had a chance to create us because it's like you gotta like really sit down. I've been playing GM mode, but you gotta like really sit down and put on your creative juices before
no doubt.
You just can't just throw it up there. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely get it. So y'all make sure y'all come here to the Twitch on the Wrestling Realm, and I'll play it. But
all right, cool. I think I have a PlayStation now, so we can. If I got set up a camera piece, I can figure it out.
Oh shoot, you got the 5?
No, sorry. You just put me on every
4?
Yeah, I got the 4. Okay. It's too late. You already put me out there from everybody. I was like, oh yeah, it's like I feel like on Malibu's Most Wanted. He's like, man, you got Dreamcast? Nah, man, I got Dreamcast.
You want another hot take?
What's that?
PlayStation 5 is just PlayStation 4.5.
You're asking for trouble.
It's the worst jump. Like 3 to 4 was a jump. 4 to 5. I'm like, and that's the one I got early.
I was playing Adam on Fortnite. Me, him, and cousin Buki. We was playing Fortnite.
They got you on Fortnite, bro.
Yeah, man. We was playing Fortnite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a PS5. He started his game. We all started game at the same time, bro. He was already in, ready to go 10 minutes before I was. I said, wait a minute. I didn't realize how fast this PS5 was compared to my PS4 until we were trying to play Fortnite. And I'm like, yo, why are you in the game so fast? But yeah, that's neither here nor there. We'll have that conversation at some point. We're due for another video game episode. But let's pivot a little bit now that we kind of got that off our chest about our favorite wrestler, Daniel Bryan, facing off against Okada at AEW Forbidden Door. But speaking of young talent, did anybody catch NXT Tuesday? If you did,
boy, yes, sir.
First of all, it was Shawn Michaels is in his bag. Like when I say he is I don't know what to call this version of NXT because each version of each evolution of iteration, it kind of has its own identity. Right. And this is probably the first time since the very beginning that we're literally seeing the focus being on creating new talent and giving them that character depth, things that we don't see in AEW. I think the issue we have with guys like Ricky Starks and all that young talent that's in AEW is that there's no character development, there's no depth to who they are. We don't know who they are and what boxes do they check. It's because they're not on TV enough, and there's not enough TV time to put them in situations where we learn to care about them, good, bad, or indifferent, right? We don't see their struggles, we don't see their trials, we don't see their tribulations, we don't see their ups, we don't see their downs. There's not enough TV time for that. We see good matches, and we see a couple of segments, and we see a couple of promos, and it's just those three. And unfortunately, that doesn't always stick. But I noticed something at the end of NXT where Bron Breakker challenged Seth Rollins for his World Heavyweight Championship. And I was like, whoa. Hold up. First of all, it took me back to when Seth Rollins and CM Punk were on the same show at one point when NXT was just starting. I remember at one point they had
early on.
They had a face-to-face, and then they were a tag team at one point. And I was like, man, this is reminiscent to those early years where it's like, man, is Seth in the space right now where he's working with everybody? We all knew Roman is Roman. He's the moneymaker, but he has a very limited schedule. And yet now we have another world champion that's like literally bent on carrying the wrestling part of the company, including working with young talent like Bron Breakker. And I was like, man, I don't know if this is even going to come about, but the fact that Bron Breakker had the audacity to say, you open challenge, bro, I want a piece of you, Seth Rollins. And I was like, man, I remember when Seth Rollins was the NXT guy going face to face with CM Punk. They holding their belts, backstage. And Seth Rollins gave CM Punk a piece of his mind. And I was like, man, is this what they're doing now? Is Seth Rollins literally working from top to bottom, from established guys to making new stars, all the way down to a Bron Breakker? Now, my question to you, Brian H, is where do you see Bron Breakker matching up with Seth Rollins if this does, in fact, actually happen in real time?
As far as where would it take place at?
No, just in general. Like, wait, like, think about it. Bron Breakker goes from being NXT champion, having that run, kind of dominant at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To now, all of a sudden, he's trying to make that drastic of a jump to say, okay, I'm done with NXT for the most part. I want to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, that's really ballsy for a rookie to do something like that, to decide, you know what, I've made the decision that I'm ready. What type of chance does he have against a veteran that's savvy, as smooth as Seth Rollins? This man beat Omos. This man has beat Roman. this guy's taking down the best of the best, and now this young punk has decided he wants to try his hand at the world champion. Is this a good idea or a bad idea for Bron Breakker?
Oh, it's a good idea.
Tell us why.
If I can make a sports reference, this is like when, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and make the lazy comparison. It's like when Kobe wanted to square off against Michael Jordan in the All-Star game.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because obviously Bron Breakker's somebody who's like, granted the styles are different, but as far as the reason why it's Kobe Jordan like is because it's like, okay, I was a dominant on this level, and I'm coming to the main roster. I'm not coming to play games when I get up there. I wanted y'all to know I come from the lineage. My dad was a I say my dad was basketball. My dad was, it was one of greatest tag team champions ever. Also, solid superstar. They would shoot wrestlers.
WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's the word. Hall of Famer. I more than proved myself as an NXT champion. I got roughed up a little bit. I got my belt back, and then I turned heel. Now I'm not here to play no games. So, like I said, with the way Kobe went at Michael Jordan in 98. Was he ready? No. But he let him know, like, I'm not scared of you.
There you go.
You got what I want. And that's what I see with Bron Breakker. He had, Seth Rollins has what he wants. It's a win-win situation. Because if you catch him slipping, he wins the world championship.
Right.
And if I watch it from a child's eyes, right? Just for the sake of watching it from a child's eyes and not knowing so much about the business, it would be like, it's believable. You look at this guy, he looks like, oh man, he's bigger than Seth Rollins.
Especially as a heel.
It's a heel.
Looks way more menacing.
Facts, especially with the gear.
Yeah. So, I love that part. I'm like, let's stay here because all that I get the homage to the uncle, to your dad, but
bro, you see when he speared Odyssey Jones? Yeah.
No games are being played.
Twitter with all of like, bro, what did he do to him? How much money did he owe him? He showed up to the barbershop. That's one thing, he don't show up to no black man's barbershop. Dude,
no, man, not at all.
And so everything that I couldn't stand about Bron Breakker 6 months ago, he's done flipped it. I was like, okay, we know the wrestling is there. We know, but he looks like a bona fide superstar now. Wow. And he looks like he can be somebody that will be headlining WrestleMania. He's starting to look like that.
Really? Already? You see that for his progression? Like we saw that.
I can see that trajectory again.
Okay.
Sure. Before I couldn't. Before I was like, I saw it, then it was like, he's still. But now I'm like, I can see that. And the way the passionate promo, he said, okay, you was the first. Stop. It's the house you built. Cool. I'm the most dominant. It's like watching Shaq and Hakeem.
Yeah.
That's probably what it's more like Shaq and Hakeem, where Hakeem was always, very underrated. You got to really talk to basketball heads to really appreciate Hakeem the Dream, because most people gonna bring up your Shaqs, your Wilts, your Bill Russells, but people don't talk about the finesse. And unfortunately, Seth Rollins was that way for a long time. I think he's gonna put himself in a different echelon, especially with this new character and stuff. But he was in danger of becoming like the Bretts and the Shawns, where you had to really be in his era to really appreciate him.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's actually that's perfect. You know what I mean? Especially when you put it that, because it makes the most sense. And yeah, man, it's interesting to see where Bron has his development, where he is now. And I'm seeing him as a bigger draw as a heel than I saw in his original run as a face. But Brother Hugh, do you think that Bron Breakker has the ability to draw money with Seth Rollins and maybe even secure himself a roster spot, at a higher place? Again, it's not like we haven't seen this before. We saw it with Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? We saw it with Kurt Angle.
It's giving me big John Cena, Kurt Angle vibes.
And we saw Randy Orton, and what we're referring to is young talent that's maybe just kind of starting out, but still has the ability. Brock Lesnar is probably another big one. And you probably could even say The Rock, you know, and referring to all young talent that it didn't take them long to get directly into the top of the mid card, directly into the main event. You know what I mean? Do you see Bron Breakker in that same space as the rest of those guys, brother? You?
Absolutely. I think he was gonna get that push either way. I hate to say it. Even if he was still like kind of green, I hate using that term, but kind of green.
Sure. Yeah.
He was still gonna get that push, I felt, because because of his lineage, his family and whatnot.
Right.
But that's one of the biggest reasons why he's getting that push too. Like he's part of the family, plus his progression in NXT throughout the years. Like I could stand him at first. I couldn't watch none of his matches or anything. Now he's in the ring with a couple of different characters, a couple of different people, and he won his thing. So let's really test you. Let's take you up to the main roster, and you're fighting the best of the best right now. See what you do with that. That's his test. That's his test. That's gonna make him or break him right there.
No, I think that's excellent. Like I said, once again, that's an excellent point to make. At the end of the day, it's a great testing point for him, and I think it's almost like a sink or swim moment, where they said, okay, let's see what you can do. And first of all, if anybody you're gonna work with anybody, Seth Rollins, he's made all the young talent look good up to this point. Anybody he's worked with, like I said, he made Omos look like $1 million. Omos shined in a loss. That's the true mark of a ring general. You know what I mean? Like you're hitting Ric Flair status when you in that space. So only I don't know the logistics of it just yet, but only time will tell. We'll see if we get Bron Breakker challenging Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. But Bron Breakker, we agree, does have a bright future. The son of Steiners. But once again, we're going to make another pivot. Steiners, son of Steiners.
Brother, can I ask y'all a question about that?
Yeah, by all means. Yep.
Has Seth been back to NXT since he left?
No,
that's a good question.
Now,
no.
We'll see. It depends what you mean by when he left, because when the Shield first debuted, they were still on NXT. Like they showed up and they wrestled their last couple of matches on it. Like them and the Wyatt family still were on NXT.
Yeah, but I'm saying he went back just to drop the title to Big E. But I'm saying, has he been back since he's been Seth freaking Rollins or the Visionary, the Revolutionary? He hasn't been back yet, has he?
No.
So I guess here's my question: does it make more sense for Braun to come to Monday Night Raw to get in the face to get more eyes on NXT, or does it make more sense for Seth to go back to NXT to bring those fans to NXT? Because is it more important for you to get the viewership on NXT up, or is it more important to say who's this guy on Raw? Oh, go check him out on Tuesday.
Well, you can do both, like they did with Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
Dolph Ziggler showed up in NXT, and then Bron Breakker showed up on Raw. And that's how they kept me in tune. Like I wasn't watching the new NXT, especially at first that 2.0 iteration of it. I was like, it took me way too long to get adjusted to it, and I was struggling. But that was one of the first things that made me go back and watch NXT, because he showed up on Raw, and he said, "Meet me on Tuesdays or Wednesday, whenever it was still coming on Tuesdays, right?" He said, "Meet me on Tuesdays." And Dolph Ziggler's like, "Say less, I'll be there." Bobby Roode said, "Say less, I'll be there." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm definitely watching it this week." It's because I know Zigzag is going to be there. I know Bobby Roode is going to be there. You know what I mean? So it's like, and even Bron Breakker had one last exchange before the pay-per-view itself that they fought for the NXT title, which was enough to pull me back into NXT again for their go home show. So I think a solid combination of the two should probably get the job done.
Facts.
But like I said, we're gonna pivot like Ryan Clark. Get it? Because that's a show. The last time we spoke,
Chris Paul just on there.
Chris Paul was on there. His is really good. I just watched his today.
I was about to. I started, and then I'm like, and then I saw he got released. Or will be.
Waived. Yep.
Hold on, time out. What?
Chris Paul got waived by the Suns. Yeah, I don't know if that was by intention, or they decided we want to dump his contract, or he pretty much wanted out because they got rid of Monty Williams. I don't know the situation.
Yeah, that contract is something crazy. We've been owed like $30 million.
They still got to pay him regardless.
Yeah, I saw something was like they got paid like 15 of it. So he's still getting bread. Shout out to the Casual Wrestler, the Flex Zone, well, Uncle Raj, and the Hardy Wrestling Podcast.
Hey, Steph Hardy's in the building.
Yeah, I gotta check out her. Finished watching her episode with Ciendo. I watched most of it yesterday. It was really good. Great conversation. And then she had Shantice. So shout out to her, making her waves, getting everybody on.
Yes, indeed. Steph said, I think it makes sense for Seth to go to NXT. All Corbin and Dana are
Ali.
there. So, oh yeah, of course.
Ali Corbin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oops, I'm tripping. Ali, I said all. I'm like, oh, I was confused. Ali, Dana, Corbin, and Dana are there. So if Seth Rollins comes, there it is. It's a win. It's been a while since Braun was on Raw. That does make sense. If he shows up to Raw, he may not be as familiar with the Raw audience, but if he does show up on NXT, that's an instant explosion. So
shout out to Dana Brooke yesterday. Final 3 in the women's battle royal.
yeah.
That was a good match. I really enjoyed that. You could tell Mr. Royal Rumble himself has been cooking because, like, just for the psychology, like one of the things that always irritated me is like when somebody get thrown over the rope and every time they like grab and pull themselves back over,
Sure.
like Shawn Michaels would do. But like the ladies, like when there was an opportunity, they just kick them.
Right.
It was just something simple, like just kick their hands. It makes sense because you ain't go. If somebody kicking your hand, you gonna fall. You know,
Right.
and man, they was taking bumps too. Like a lot of those spells, like ugh. So, it was a great battle royal. I
They
usually
definitely
don't.
focus on the women. You notice that they've been really focused on building.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Stars. After that
Mhm.
draft, they said, okay, now we can hit go on some of these women.
I mean,
It's Triple H does best, man.
look with the tag match on Raw with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. You know, everybody knew they was gonna lose to Ronda and Shayna, but
Right.
man, they put on a match.
There you go.
Yeah, it wasn't a squash. It wasn't a local enhancement talent here and versus the chat. It was, oh, wait a minute. It made you pay attention.
Yep.
Shout out to Ronda Rousey. It's coming out that she's been very vocal to the office about the women getting more time. And when you have one of your top draws in your company that happens to be a female talent that is going to bat for all the women's performers on the roster, making that kind of noise, man, it's kind of stirring up good trouble. You know, it's the same thing that Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné were all pushing and fighting for, and Trinity Fatu were all fighting for. And, you know, she's kind of got a little bit of leverage because she's a moneymaker. You know what I mean? So even her and Shayna Baszler having the tag titles is something it was almost like written in the stars already. Like they're gonna be one of the most dominant tag team champions of all time. Why not? And you know, Shayna made it clear to you, like, nah, she made this happen. Like she pushed for it and she wasn't going to take no for an answer after a while. And she has the space where she's able to kind of make that call. So shout out to them as the ladies continue to plunge their way into the world of sports entertainment on a very equal and level playing field. So speaking of equal and level playing field, this is Brandon Guy's spot right here. You ready? This is where we get him going. Last time we talked, good brothers, we were waiting for Roman Reigns' 1,000-day championship reign celebration. Well, this Friday we got it. And of course, Triple H shows up, and you know, Triple H shows up with that little black looking table. You know what that means. You know, we're getting a new championship belt. We get a new championship belt unveiled. And we got it. And as I believe we spoke about it the week before, and we were going over like, well, what would we consider this? And I think I remember saying it's probably going to be called like the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship, because it's like, well, it's letting you know that they're both merged, you know, WWE Championship and Universal Championship, but also it's like you're the champion of the WWE Universe, you know, so it kind of plays off itself. But first of all, before I put it up there, first of all, what do you guys think about kind of the name, the title of the belt? I know wrestling fans have mixed emotions about it. I'm okay with it. I think after a while, when people kind of forget the Universal Championship, it won't have that undertone to it. Was like, it's a WWE Universal Championship. We're like, where's the WWE Championship? We're like, well, they're all in one. You know what I mean? But I think over time, people will get used to it and still consider it like the main because it says Undisputed Champion on the title.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about the name, the new WWE Undisputed Universal Championship?
That's what I was going to go right there. You know, where you said it has Undisputed on the name. You know, that was the big thing. Like when they brought out this one, it says World Heavyweight Champion as opposed to, you know, when they was rocking with this one, it was just WWE
Champion, right?
And then the big, and then you had Big Gold.
Yeah.
So, I like that. I think eventually, honestly, you might get away from the Universal side.
I think eventually they'll drop the name eventually.
Yeah, and it'll be just the lineage of the WWE Championship.
Sure, Undisputed WWE Championship again.
Yeah, which, you know, it gets funky with the numbers, in all honesty, because it's like, okay, so is he, how long is he the champion? You know what I mean? Like it'll probably be, but then again, I guess it don't really have to it don't have to be, it would just be the next person to be just the 60 whatever champion, whatever. So
Right.
overall, I like it a lot. The design, I think, is probably one of those that would be better to see in person. I kind of figured it was gonna have some sort of gold to
Let's
it.
just go there since you brought it up.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead.
it looks okay. I think I would have gone with a darker shade of gold. You know what I mean?
I can't wait till the guy gets his hands on this one. This is going to be good.
Right, exactly.
But you know, though, Branish, I'm in the same space that you are. Right, it's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah,
but I think I saw a picture of Roman Reigns sitting in a stairwell, and the gold didn't look so bright. And I was like, well, that looks a little more realistic because the gold kind of matches the trim of the belt. As it's not like this. It's not like it's two shades of gold.
right.
But
I was about to say maybe I think it was just the way light hit it,
and that's what I was thinking too. Like it's new. Think about it. As when wear and tear gets broken in, it'll probably end up being just flat gold, right? You have to imagine. But brother Hugh, what do you think about the new WWE Undisputed Universal Championship?
Well, I thought it looked cheesy when I thought he was cheesy when he unveiled it because I don't know, it was just something about it. Like you said, the gold, it just threw me off. Like it was two different shades, like you said, and then I really do think that it was the light that kind of messed with it. But it's something that I gotta keep looking at. It's gonna grow eventually. I was kind of expecting the same type of design,
right,
for marketing purposes. But yeah, that gold background kind of it just threw me off with the black W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I can say about that, man.
It's just trust me. I'm with you, brother. It's going to take some. I used to hate the spinner belt, and then eventually, when it was all said and done, like years later, it became one of my favorites. And then by the time it became my favorites, they got rid of it, and I was like, I was just getting used to this thing. And I'm like, yeah, like you said, you keep looking at it, with the black WWE logo and that bright red slash. But
is it too much gold?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting
for. Belt more.
Is it too much gold though?
Yeah, I do too now.
That's what I thought initially.
Well, see, I don't know. Like that's where it looks. You know what I mean? But like I said, it goes back to what you said. Is it because it's fresh? Because it's bright? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, and it's something we're not used to. It's something we're not used to. But part of me was expecting or wanted to see kind of a new title or just a modified version of the WWE title in some way, shape, or form, which is technically what we got. Yeah. But it's just like that gold plating behind it is just like it seems like it's like, okay, well, this is just the gold is just to celebrate like dynasty, to celebrate like to represent riches, to represent like this is the dominance. And I like the fact that it says undisputed champion under it, because that's kind of how you solidify it to be different. So when you look at it in history, right? When you look at it in history and you look at all the iterations of this particular title, they all look different. You know what I mean? You can separate them all. So you have the WWE Championship that says World Heavyweight Champion on it. Then you have the Universal Champion, red strap, blue strap, Universal Champion. And now you have this one that says Undisputed Champion, and it's in gold. So, Brother Brandon, this is what we don't waiting for, sir. What your 2 cents for those who didn't either see you on live or hear what you had to say about it? Your thoughts, sir, on the new WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Did I say it right?
See, and that's my problem. The only problem I have with this belt.
He starts off by saying, "See, that's my problem."
No, because, like you just said, it's a tongue twister because it doesn't say Universal anywhere on there. But according to WWE.com, they still have the lineage saying that the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship is still counting from 1976 and 2016 until now. It's still showing that these titles still exist. Where's the lineage for this? And I know it's all about a numbers thing, keeping Roman, I hate saying Roman reign, his reign intact so he can surpass everybody. But if the name wasn't there, I honestly don't have a problem with it because I've grown to like the network logo belts. The thing that I think it does it no justice is just what kills me is every time there's a belt reveal, everybody becomes an artist, and now everybody knows what looks better. And
Exactly.
they do this, they do that. I'm like, everybody hated the Undisputed belt when it first came out. Now it's one of the most sought out belts. Everybody hated
I
the
wasn't a
spinner.
fan of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
everybody hated the spinner. Everybody, and it's like, give it a chance. Like, I like the fact that it's the gold behind it kind of gives you a different feel with the side plates. And if you look at the pictures online on WWE Shop, it actually doesn't look bad with the black.
I was about to say it don't look bad actually.
Yeah.
And in the picture, if you go to the Superstar page between him and Seth, they look like a big deal. But I want to know what's the difference between them. To a casual fan, if you saw Roman on the show, you automatically going to know, oh, that's the WWE champion. But then if you see Seth, you're like, oh, what's his belt? He's got to be a champion or something. So what is he? So it kind of still lends some marketing and prestige at the same time because the gold just screams out. And whether it's a good scream or bad scream, it's going to make you pay attention to it. And the black stones are just different. Like, I thought that was probably the most unique touch because we've always had brighter stones. We never had black stones. I thought that was neat because of the black and red combination. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is when Roman drop it, do we do something different?
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think so at this point. It's because I think they kind of made it obvious that they're like keeping this design going into the future for a while. They want to keep it simple, and then, like I said, they want to be able to hand these out to the baseball players and stuff like that. But then you also have options now. I saw a look at it where you have the undisputed title versus the World Heavyweight Championship. And I think even the names of it kind of separate the two. Well, it's like, yeah, they both make sense because technically Seth Rollins is the World Heavyweight Champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, no, it does make sense. Roman is kind of undisputed for his title reigns, and he's just at the top, and he does very minimum to do so. He does a little bit, he does a lot at the same time. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask y'all this: was there ever a time when a belt was revealed that you instantly liked it?
Yes.
No, not for me. Every belt I've looked at had to grow on me. It's because I just don't like change. It's not like you know what I mean? Like, for instance, the IC title was debuted. I was so in love with the one previous when I saw it, and I was like, But then it grew on me, and I was like, oh, this is actually nice. I actually like it. You know what I mean? But it's just my brain not being fair because he wants to hold on to the other, So
I guess it wouldn't be fair to say when Cody brought back the other one, even though it had its variations to make it more modern. Like, if you look at it close to the details, did you like that when it happened, or was it like
yes and no, because it was a little bit extra, because once again I was just getting used to the other one for the last couple of years. I started to like that title. You know
it was already out like 10
it had
years.
Exactly, like it was been out for a minute, and I was like, okay, cool, I got used to it. You know what I mean? I don't do change very well sometimes. Well, that's what I love it now, good gosh. But there was a time where I didn't want nothing to change, and if it did, it had to wow me, and I was like, But then when I saw it, when they went back to the original, I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of like where this is going, so I'm okay with it.
This one right here,
that one, same thing. That one had to grow on me.
I remember we did the show. You ain't like it, so I was like, no, you gotta hold it, brother.
Bro,
I made him like hold the title.
It did. It changed my whole perception of it, because I was like, okay, I don't know why. Like, I look at it now, it doesn't look that big, but like if you hold it in person, I'm like, oh no, this is it.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know anybody, you would think it could pass for a world title.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I didn't like the previous United States Championship at first. Look at brother, there he is. Look at him. The NXT.
Know, right?
That's the one you like?
NXT UK Tag Team Championship.
That one.
Let me get that side plate action. Yeah, it is.
What about you guys? Was there any other title that you guys saw immediately? I was like, oh no, that's it.
I know one that they all said that was it. They
What's
act
that?
like they don't remember. Them wrestling
Don't say those
titles.
pennies.
No, the wrestling titles.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't count. But yeah, absolutely.
What you mean it don't count? That always count. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you talk about speechless. I was speechless. First of all, I didn't even know that was even a thing. I didn't know we was even. But when I saw all three of the titles, I didn't know what to do. I was like stuck. But I mean, shout out to Brandon guy, the belt designer himself.
I ain't gonna lie. I shed a tear. I ain't gonna lie.
Nah,
But
it
you know what's
was
crazy
an
about
emotional day, brother. You had nothing to be ashamed about.
Mhm.
And Brian will know why this one, because when they revealed the NXT UK title, it was like, wow, that's a variation of the network belts. But then when they revealed this, I said, oh, they got a little funky with it on this one.
Mhm.
And it was just something different because the floor
Yeah.
pattern around it with the stones and the black and white on the side. I said, oh, okay, that's a belt. Like, and it made it seem like it was in line with the NXT belt that this is going to be a big deal. You know, we're making sure that you feel like our champions are a big deal.
Yeah, Stephanie Hardy from the Hardy Wrestling Podcast said she said, yes, I fell in love with the Raw Women's title at first sight. Yes, that was nice when they debuted that versus when they
The
merged.
WrestleMania 32.
Yes, when they merged the Divas title in that triple threat match, which was unbelievable between
I
Charlotte.
also like this
Becky
variation of the WWE Championship. The only thing I didn't like was
not
the
like that
fact
belt.
that it leaked.
Yes, I remember that. They
That's
were
what
showing
I
the plates, and we were like, "Oh, that's not the
Yeah.
championship."
Exactly, and I hated that. But like once I saw it, and it, like once The Rock, brought it out, I was like, yo, because by then I was tired of the spinner. And to be real, CM Punk had kind of like gassed, a lot of the audience when he said to John Cena, "I'm gonna take that belt and I'm gonna get rid of that and bring back a real world title or whatever." So it was like, oh wait, we getting a new belt, finally. Yeah, I wish they never honestly got rid of Big Gold. But I understand why they did, and I actually like the more and more I see Seth's belt. And
I'm telling you, man, I love this version of that title.
Yeah,
it's almost it's like I look at it like Ninja Turtles. Like it was a regular turtle, and then mutagen got on it, and then now we have superheroes.
Wait, what?
I just gave you the plot of Ninja Turtles. Like they were regular turtles. They went some TCRI green ooze, and they became human
this is
turtle
well over their
hybrids.
head.
Oh,
right.
No, I
Way over
like
his head.
that's how I feel. Like it's the evolution. It's the
Bro, like what?
had to break. That's why. See, Brandon's laughing at you because I knew.
I know.
Like
I only played the video games.
as soon as I said
Nintendo.
it, he knew what I was talking about. He thought it was funny, and he waited for me to keep going. And you're like, "What?" Before he said anything. But that's how I feel about it.
The turtle sheets too. I just
Yeah,
didn't
there
watch
we go.
it.
I mean, listen,
It's a rite of passage. As a
I was
child,
about to say, if you grew up in the 80s, if you were born in the
you
80s,
had to have something Ninja Turtles.
Of course,
and,
man.
and I feel like I would watch it if it came on, but for the most part, I didn't watch it.
Crazy part, I didn't even realize Brandon had that Ninja Turtles t-shirt on. I did. The left part of my brain must have picked that up.
Oh snap! I didn't see.
And the music, of course.
The music was killer.
The song was iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like I'm telling you, like that's probably the closest title I've
You was
seen.
laughing at me. You got the casual wrestler
terrible.
laughing at me.
That was
Because that
probably
was
the first.
funny. Because you was like, the what? Like
You
you
said-
was so lost.
Cause
telling you.
I know I ain't watched cartoons. I watched
I at least thought
Waldo and Martin.
I at least thought you watched Ninja Turtles though. My bad.
Right,
No,
man.
Power
Watching
Rangers.
Ninja Turtles.
I mean, God dang it, Brian Edge.
I mean,
And
weren't they
Masked
on Power
Rider.
Rangers?
We got to
Huh?
take you
It
back
was
to the
on
80s
Power
and
Rangers.
90s.
Right?
You said it was old.
It was they won an episode of Power Rangers when Lost in Space, but it was
Oh yeah.
Ninja Turtles, the new
That
generation.
doesn't count. That was
The
the
next
new mutation.
mutation. We're not.
That was
we
the
don't-
new mutation. That's not,
They don't.
that's not our
They don't
truth.
exist. They don't exist in our world.
Oh, the Wild World title. I forgot about that.
That is a nice looking belt.
Shout out to Amber. Her last match aired last week.
Oh,
match
okay.
of her career, or she did the job. The Razor, brother. Shout out to her. I just talked to her earlier today. Congrats to my niece on her graduation.
All right. Congratulations to all those who are graduating. This
Yo,
is,
Masked Rider was lit. Yo, I used to watch that before school.
bro. You know the crazy part is, cannot watch that now. I can watch a lot of old stuff. Like me, I'm a retro guy, right? Certain stuff in my childhood, I didn't grow out of. Like I still watch it to this day. Some stuff I did. I went back and tried to watch Masked Rider. Like I watched Power Rangers.
Wait, where can you find it?
Like if you go on YouTube, like people pirate,
okay.
Episode. I was, it was just like,
I didn't know if it was on Netflix or something.
no, because it's that bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
but like,
horrible acting.
like it's so bad. It's so bad. I went back and tried to find I went around found like the Japanese original version and just watched it in Japanese dub. Like Kamen Rider Black RX. I just decided to watch that. There's way more action in it. But
What about VR Troopers?
same thing.
I'm good.
Can't
That was
watch it.
horrible.
Can't watch it.
I'm about to watch this on the Realm channel too. So when y'all go to history, y'all go be like,
Bro, listen to me.
I'm about to mess up the algorithm.
Silverhawks. I was watching that last night on my Fire Stick,
I've
and I was
never
like,
heard of Silverhawks.
I was like, man, was this really
Oh
that
my
bad?
gosh, for real?
Silverhawks didn't connect with me, man. I
loved it as a kid. I tried to watch it as an adult. I said, yeah, I can't do this.
Bro,
That's
Mask
crazy.
Rider, VR Troopers, Silverhawks. I was like, bro, these ain't clicking with me now.
Hey, Brandon, Ronin Warriors? Yes, sir.
Yes, I can still watch
that. They're ready for that conversation.
Ronin Warriors is still.
Nah, they're not ready.
They're not ready. If you start saying Ronin Warriors, you got to say stuff like Voltron and Thundercats. And
I'm gonna tell you, when I watched today, I'm gonna go back and watch the entire season. Battle of the Planets.
Oh, you talking about predecessor to G-Force?
G-Force, yes, sir. Like I was watching, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like I remember seeing it as a kid and I couldn't keep up with it. Like, because back in those days you had to buy like VHS tapes at like Sunco, and who had money for that? I was a kid. But now I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually catch up, because you would see the figurines and stuff everywhere. And my dad was like, oh, he's bragging about it because he got to watch it when he was younger. And I'm like, now I'm just getting my hands on it. I'm like, I'm gonna go back and watch it, see if I can follow up. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. We sound like Brother Lynn, his 30 podcast that he has.
Yes, sir. You said Brother Lynn.
Brother Lynn, Bros Who Think.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Bros Who Think
Network
podcast.
Look, you see, you said Big Bad Beetle Boys. That wasn't bad. That was.
I remember that. The
it was. I'm telling you, everything was
turned
cool
it off
back in second, third, fourth grade. I promise you it was. But now I'm just looking like, oof, this ain't holding up too well like Power Rangers does.
No, you know what really didn't hold up well? There was a Saban product, that Mystic Knights of Terranor.
No,
oh my God, that was terrible.
It was beyond. It
horrible.
Was.
Hold on, I'm an idiot. You said Saban.
Yeah, Saban era.
you know, Saban made all those shows.
I used to always call it Savior.
Wow.
Because of the symbols too. The symbols that I used to use. You better not show up to a quartet program with Savior symbols now. You'll get clowned out. Yo, they shame you in gospel music too. They shame you if you show up with a certain type of snare, certain type of symbols.
That's intense. I didn't think it was. Come on, man. Y'all supposed to be there praising the Lord.
It's a business, bro.
I get it.
They be beefing in quartet.
Whew, man. But speaking of beefing quartets, great segue, gentlemen. The Bloodline Civil War continues, or should I say, it kind of already begun. As we follow up from our last pay-per-view, we follow up from Night of Champions, and we saw Jimmy Uso kicking Roman Reigns in the face. He drew his proverbial line in the sand. He made up in his mind what he was going to do, what he wasn't going to do. And we got an explanation this Friday. The Usos were not supposed to be there at the celebration when Roman Reigns was awarded his brand new undisputed WWE Universal Championship from Chief Creative Officer Triple H, aka The Game. And the Usos, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman made it very clear that the Usos were not supposed to be there, that their travel was canceled, but the Usos made their way to the show regardless. And they showed up. And Jimmy Uso had an explanation. He told Roman Reigns that he kicked him in the face because he was being a good brother. He told him, you've been out of line. We family. And you've been disrespecting us. It's one thing to disrespect Sammy. That's one thing. But you've been disrespecting us. And you needed it. You've been doing this since we was kids. And you should be nicer to us. He said, that's my brother. I'm responsible for him. And he said that the young boy behind you, that's my brother. I'm responsible for him. He said, but at the end of the day, let's be real. You're my brother too. We all grew up together. We all know that. And we're stronger together than we are apart. First and foremost, let me ask you, Brother Hugh. Did you buy exactly Stephanie from the Hardy Wrestling Podcast said another episode of The Bold and the Bloodline? Yes, ma'am, it definitely is. Brother Hugh, did you buy his explanation? Jimmy Uso kicking Roman Reigns in the face, saying that he was being a good brother. He felt like it was something he needed to do to get Roman Reigns back in line. Was this the right move?
Yeah, it makes sense. I said from the jump, like all the disrespect that was going on, like is bound to start a fight. You know, like it's family business, family matters. I said that from the jump. Like it's like older brother messing with his younger brother. What's the younger brother going to do? Sit there and cry? No, he's going to come back.
Eventually, there you go.
He's going to fight, right? So that's basically what we have going on right here. Unfortunately, you know, it didn't work out the way the Usos wanted it to, but we'll see.
Now, brother Brandon, let me ask you this. It was the interesting wrinkle in all of this, and everybody's always waiting to see what's going on with Solo, right? He's always the X factor in this equation. Now he kind of made his position clear, and he said, I support my brother. I support the bloodline. He said, but you're my brother. And he walks over there and he sides, seemingly he sides with Jimmy Uso. Now he pretty much says, I believe in the bloodline, but I also support my brother. So he kind of stayed on the fence. He still tread that line. He was still in the middle. He still made it clear, where he stood. But he left us with the impression that he was kind of backing the Usos and what Jimmy Uso had to say in regards to what the bloodline's position should be. Okay, so what we have in this explanation is that Jimmy Uso makes it very clear he's not trying to destroy the bloodline. He felt like he needed to get Roman back in order, but it needs to be done a certain type of way. And he felt like his brother supported that. Brother Brandon, did you trust Solo's explanation when he says that he believes in the bloodline, but he supports his brother Jimmy Uso? Because later on, in just a moment or two after, Jimmy Uso tries to embrace Roman. He tells me he's family and I love you, but no, it's not going to go down the way you said. Solo still upholds his position in the bloodline as the muscle. He gets his own brother, the Samoan Spike, for breaking the truce, the bloodline, the order that was set in place by their family, and he walks out. Do you feel like Solo took the right position in that situation, Brother Brandon?
See, that's the part I think we're missing, because it's a reason we haven't seen any other members of the family. This is now the second celebration that we supposed to had, and it really was a celebration. And it's a reason that he keeps siding back with Roman and keep backing Roman, because the elders sent him. But we never established who these elders are. We never established what his marching orders were, besides, because he didn't say it in there, I acknowledge you. And he came right in line when he first appeared, and then he did it again. He said, I acknowledge you, but these are my brothers. But he's still holding true to his marching orders like a good soldier, so. And if you pay attention, I think the best part of the story from Friday was going up the ramp that the camera just conveniently caught him said, he'll do what he always do. He'll fall in line.
Yes, sir.
When Paul Heyman said, what about Jay, my tribal chief? And he said he'll do what he always do. He'll fall in line. So we established that, it's Roman way or no way. So and he let him get he mushed him. He let him super kick him, and Roman still ain't do nothing. I think that's our SummerSlam match. Them two.
Jimmy Uso versus Roman Reigns?
Yep. That's our SummerSlam match.
Interesting.
So
Brian H.
He can put him back in line. He gonna beat him back in line like when he was kids.
I mean, that's kind of the tone in which he was speaking in. But Brian H. here's the $1 million question, sir. Does Jey Uso fall in line? And if he does, what does that leave Jimmy Uso? Does that lead us to our SummerSlam main event like Brother Brandon has pretty much just told us?
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. The Bold and the Bloodline.
See, I keep seeing this. We got to get the Jay versus Jimmy.
Okay.
This is again me reading too much and listening to his interviews, and Matt and Jeff did it. Brett and Sean did it. I mean, Brett and Owen did it. And Jay said clearly, like, that's what he wanted to face his brother. And we think about what else, So it's like, how do you get there, right? And especially with the goal being WrestleMania. So there has to be a way he has to fall in line for now before the eventual change happens. But I think if you get that match, it's when Jay is on the outs, not Jimmy. Somehow Jimmy gonna come back around, because it's easy. I think Jay is the one that people sympathize with more, because he was the one who he took the beating the most. Like, even when he was gone during that month, when you felt bad for Jay, because it's like, okay, he let his guard down after he didn't want to,
right? And
boom, all of a sudden he get betrayed. Like, he was hurt, but he was also hurt that he's like, I've been telling y'all didn't listen. So I could see Jay fall in line to get us to Jimmy versus Roman. Because right now I don't.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Right now I don't see nobody. Like we said, the undisputed champion. and that belt right now is what's feeding the family. But there's going to be this thing where with this civil war, like when you have a civil war, before any other country gets involved, you know, the civil war got to be taken care of first. So before anybody comes at Roman, you know, everybody's hands on SmackDown is tied up right now. So that helps, right? So that's what people can say, oh, Roman's not defending the belt. No, he don't have time right now because he got to get the family straight. And the bloodline got to get back in order. And it could take a while. This could take months. This could take a whole year for all we know. And yeah, it's racking up the title reign number, which is great. But he got to get that bloodline back in order.
But I got a wrinkle for you as well.
Yep.
Here's something else that we didn't even add. Me and he talked about this. They don't look like twins anymore. They don't look like twins.
No, not at all.
It's definitely clear separation.
People now.
Yeah.
Well, and that started right around when Jimmy got hurt and Jay became main event Jey Uso when he cut his hair.
Right hand man.
Right hand man. And what he said, which one are you? That's what people would say to him. And they made you within that it was like a 15-minute documentary piece.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and they made you instantly fall in love with Jey Uso. Or dare say Joshua, right?
Especially during the pandemic where we were kind of we were just eating up all types of content because that's all we kind of had. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, look from WrestleMania to now, they look more different. They look like two different wrestlers now than they ever had before.
Oh yeah,
Jay lost some weight. He got extra tattoos. Jimmy got different tattoos. They starting to wear different style pants and well, he always wore a crop top, but they starting to facial hair different. Every little you start to notice the little things that you're like, now I know who's Jimmy and who's Jay.
Remember the night you thought he was going to turn, and they both had on opposite colors. The same thing, you know. Even at like Wale Mania, before they went out to do the podcast, you could see just the way they was like carrying themselves, right? Like they just looked different. Everything the guy Brandon Guy is saying, you could tell. And man, this right here, like I said, it's still layers. That's the thing. It's so many layers. That's what's making it so much fun to watch. And if you're looking at like Roman's calendar, you see like, oh, they're gonna really cook with this over the next few. It's not, you ain't gonna see him every single week, but you're gonna get more Roman than you got Brock Lesnar, and they're gonna cook with this one.
No, it makes sense. It's because it goes back to what you said. Jimmy Uso never got his main event with Roman because you know what I mean. Like Jay got his main event, you know, at twice. You know, he had him in Hell in a Cell, and it was under the same kind of connotation. I'm doing this to get you in line. You're not going to do things your way. You're going to do things my ways because I'm telling you, you need to get in line with what we're doing. You know, and ironically, what was Jimmy Uso tried to come to his brother's rescue, and he had no choice but to get in line. You know, and then if you look at that, if you look at the temperaments of the Usos, it's shifting because at one point, Jimmy Uso was the one trying to get Jay in line, like, yo, relax. This is the way it is. This is our family. This is how we do things. And then after a while, it changed. Like there was a shift where Jay was like, no, bro, this is what we do. Don't worry about it. We're better than this. This is not how we do things. Family, family, family. And I think like Brother Brandon said, man, there's got to be another Samoan family wrinkle to this conversation, to this equation at some point. At some point, somebody's got to be held accountable for it. I don't know if the elders get involved. I don't know if they bring in Rikishi to say I'm a spokesperson for the elders, Alpha and Sika, and our family. But it's like playing the game Mortal Kombat. You know, everybody knows that they look at like Shang Tsung as the boss, but Shang Tsung was never the final boss. But yet he was the one. He was the top bad guy you saw. But then once you beat him, you got to get to Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn was the one that was in charge of the boss. And I think that's the one piece of the family dynamic that we're missing when it comes to this drama. And if they can find a way to incorporate that, this is going to be unbelievable. You know, like I said, of course, once again, the bloodline is still carrying the business because Jimmy Uso versus Roman Reigns makes sense. You know what I mean? Who knows what happens after that match?
You said it, the dynamic changed because like when you go back and look at how when Jay was getting out of line the night Sami Zayn cracked him. Yeah. And you see like Jay was just like the hot head. And Jimmy like, oh man, like bro, like when he said, I don't give a damn about the tribal chief, and Roman's face popped up, and then you see recently when Jimmy said, I'm the tribal chief. When it comes to tag team, I'm the tribal chief. And you ain't never seen Roman move to the ring that fast, even when he was in the Shield.
Yeah.
That music, he didn't even point. He just started walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steph said, what if the Rock's mom speaks for the elders? Hey, she could get one more run.
First of all, Ata Johnson is a historian in the world of professional wrestling, and I wouldn't put it past her one bit.
She's at every WrestleMania,
bro,
Rock or no Rock.
She's at all those events.
Yeah,
she has been supporting Nia since day one when Nia Jax was in the mix. Like she was there more with her than anybody. Her and Tamina. So who?
Exactly. Where's she?
Nia Jax?
No, Tamina. Where's Tamina?
Oh, well, you know, she's on mommy duty. She's on mommy duty. So, you know, she's the locker room leader. She makes those.
That's graduation season. She might got kids get ready to graduate.
Yeah, her daughter. She's a little bit older, but
summer camp, you know, or something.
To me,
said, mommy duty.
She's one of the most reliable talents in the locker room. You know what I mean? And she plays a wrinkle. I mean, like
that's what I saw this week. The debut when they bought the Heart Foundation 2.0.
Yeah, that did pop
Heart
up.
Dynasty.
It popped up. Heart Dynasty, yep.
Yeah, man. And then to see how young they all looked.
Yeah, they were all fresh. They all look like Solo when he first got there. Have you ever seen Solo on the Indies? That's exactly how the Usos look on their debut.
Too.
Yeah,
when he had that long hair.
Bro, them long braids, them long Samoan braids they always have. That baby face with the facial hair. But I definitely want to see a situation with. I would like to see something, even if it's like for one-off, where they can bring everybody out as far as their family is concerned.
Yeah,
that's what kind of like they did with Bret Hart and his kind of closure story with McMahon. And you know, and Vince is like, oh yeah, guess what? The Lumberjacks of our matches your family. They hate you anyway.
Am I the only one who enjoyed that match?
No, I loved it. I just hate the fact that he was wearing jean shorts. I'm like, bro, just put the gear on. Put your gear on. Just put the shirt over you. Put your shirt over your stuff. But he felt like I'm old. Nobody wants to see that version. I said, man, you could put the gear on and throw the shirt on over the top. That'd have been okay. Instead of wearing jean shorts and those Team Jordans he had on.
Taquan has entered the building. Tamina at PTA meetings.
Wow. Just as we're leaving out. But like I said, gentlemen, the story continues.
Oh yeah, she was helping Mercedes.
She was.
Oh, okay, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Steph.
But yeah, listen. Once again, gentlemen, there's a lot going on this week, and there's so much to come. I feel like this is a cliffhanger. This is one of those to be continued type shows. Like I was putting a show together. I'm like, well, we're in an in-between phase. And you can't get to the end or conclusion of a story without trying to navigate through the middle parts. So we have a lot of
Dexter Loomis.
There you go. Full investigation that they stole from us.
Right.
But as we kind of make our way into SummerSlam, we have a lot of wrestling in between. We have look, it's just all this. This is we're not putting that comment on the screen. It's just Taquan.
I hold boom. Go get shot.
Yeah,
Taquan know the rules. He knows what happens.
Nope, we got through the whole show without no Wi-Fi issues, so we're not going to go.
No, I had 2 of them.
Brother Brandon, Brother Brandon didn't learn his lesson. He said something about he whose name should not be mentioned because every time he mentions his name, we have technical difficulties, and he had technical difficulties twice. She's like possessing the digital airways.
Yeah.
But definitely follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon channel, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Realm. Good brothers, anything else before we head out of here?
Yeah.
Brad just can't get shit together.
Yo, yeah. Y'all make sure y'all keep up with us on social media. His brother Brandon shines it up real nice. Yeah, we gonna be posting clips and
hijacked heist of 2023.
And yeah, y'all go in there and comment. There's a lot of people don't like the Chat GPT's WCW top 5.
I know that.
Yeah, Brandon, did you have something to say about that?
Look, I mean, I ain't have a problem with the list personally. I mean, if anything, I would have took out Booker T. I mean, I put in Booker T for DDP. But everybody else was solid.
I don't know about that, bro.
No, Booker T
If
got
anything.
Booker T got his run in WWE. Let's be real.
But he was 5-time WCW champion. He was multiple-time US champion, multiple-time tag team champion.
Yeah, you're right. You can make a case.
Yeah,
I'm not-
exactly. I was just saying, his
No,
podcast
my
is
fault.
there. I'm agreeing
My
with
fault.
all
My
that.
fault, Booker. No disrespect, you, Booker. You absolutely right.
It's not,
Sir.
but see,
I
like,
apologize.
you can
I'm
go
wrong.
either or. Like,
Exactly.
Goldberg,
You're right.
undeniable. Sting,
Sure.
undeniable. Hogan, undeniable.
Yeah.
Flair,
Yeah.
that's a given. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Booker T deserves to be in that category. Not to
You're
say
right.
DDP wasn't good, but I'm saying if you had to put them two, Booker did more for the business in that time than because DDP was late to the game.
The
Yeah,
only
but
the only reason I will put DDP over, or the only reason I even considered it, is because of DDP's popularity at the time during WCW's heyday versus Booker
Yeah,
T. So
that's
Booker,
true.
Booker T was here, but main event wise, DDP was a main eventer that wasn't a main eventer. Like he didn't,
That's
you see
true.
what I'm saying? Like that wasn't easy to do with Goldberg and Sting and NWO and Hogan and Warrior popping up for a month and a half, and Dennis Rodman and Kendall Gill and everybody in the Four Horsemen. That's not an easy thing to do.
God, Kendall Gill was there.
Yeah, that's
So,
wild.
Kendall Gill showed up, Shaq showed up. Thought of that. DDP,
I mean, not
Carl,
DP.
Carmelone,
Carl
Master
Malone,
P.
Rodman,
Master P.
Master P showed up. There,
Woo!
bro. Anyways,
all of
wow, the No Limit Soldiers showed up in WCW.
they really
Keep up
did.
As we like to drive conversations on our Twitter, Instagram. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all keep up with that and participate.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's our cue. We're heading out of here. Join us next week. We will be back to talk more about more professional wrestling now at the Wrestling Realm Now podcast.
It
Same
is.
bat time, same bat place. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, y'all was right.